Good morning everyone, today we're going to be talking about dex-based Meseta farming because with our level cap increase to level 90, as well as all of those new EX augments being incredibly accessible, dex farming is actually easier than ever. But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate to subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the first thing I want to showcase over here is of course the dex-based Meseta farm written guide. So this is written by Joff as well as Mill, so all credit goes to them for creating this guide as well as updating it for the level 90 cap increase, because now the criteria to actually hit the floor potency as well as the regular potency to one-shot all these mobs are incredibly easy to do now. Now I will leave the link for this document in the description below in case you just want to read it for yourself, and I highly recommend you guys to read it as well because I'll be covering only the basics. There is a lot more detail in this document. If you want to really capitalize on this and farm more than 2 million Meseta per hour, there is a lot of optimization in this document, which I highly recommend people to take advantage of. So the very first thing that you're going to need to do is level up your Waker to level 90, as well as pick up the Force subclass because you can get PP recovery boost as well as eradication PP gain. The most important one is the eradication PP gain. However, remember with those EX augments, if you have the specific EX augment that recovers PP whenever you defeat an enemy, then you don't need the Force subclass. However, most important thing here is going to be leveling up your Waker to level 90 because all you're going to be doing is you're going to be spamming Fredrin Breath. Now remember, you're not going to hold down the PA, you're actually going to be tapping it, so you're going to have to rapidly tap it over and over and over, and this is exactly what it looks like. You can see there's 3 projectiles and it's going to kill everything really quickly, and it's actually a lot more efficient than spamming Zonde simply because, well, the enemies here are not weak to lightning. It's actually even better than Spread Shot on the Talus. Now a nice little detail over here is of course your add-on skills. I know a lot of people sleep on your add-on skills, but the Force add-on skill increases your technique potency. So you definitely don't want to sleep on this and you want to max this out if you can, or at least get it to level 12 as they say in the guide. So the breakpoint that you need to meet is at least 2,883 damage on a single Fredrin Breath. So in order to achieve this, you need at least 150.48% potency, this is tech potency of course, as well as 98 potency floor. The reason why you want this much potency floor is because you do not want any fluctuations between your damage numbers. You always want to deal at least 2,883 damage. However, as we know, our armors can now be enhanced all the way to level 90, and once you get it to level 81, you actually unlock 7 augment slots. So it's really easy to hit this potency as well as this potency floor. And as we can see here, all you're going to need to do is get an Ina armor to plus 81 so that you unlock all 7 augment slots. You're going to put Hal Finale LC, Gladiator LC, Gigas Maste LC, High Ret Domina LC or High Il Domina LC, Grand Dreadkeeper LC, a Gardo Trial as well as a Wardo Trial, and boom, you now have enough potency and potency floor to effectively utilize your weapon for grinding dex base. Now of course you can use stronger augments if you want to do so. However, again, the minimum that you want to hit is 156% potency and 98% potency floor, which is actually really easy because we have the 7 augment slots. However, here comes the important part, and that is your weapon. You actually need to use an unwick Sechetyl harmonizer. This is very important and it's very specific. You have to have a Sechetyl harmonizer, and on top of that, you are aiming for Fixa Unwicks level 4 or level 5 simply because it increases your potency against non-weak points. Since you're going to be one-shotting a lot of the mobs, you might be hitting the mob's backside or their side, or basically not their weak point. So by having the unwicks, it's actually giving you a lot more extra potency so that you can consistently one-shot all of those mobs incredibly easily. Now the next question I know a lot of people are going to be asking is, Kara, where do I get a Sechetyl weapon and why do I need a Sechetyl weapon? The reason why you need it, first of all, is because of its weapon potential. Its weapon potential gives you 42% potency as well as 8% additional potency against enemies other than bosses. So just by the weapon potential alone, it's giving you 50% potency against trash mobs, which is incredibly powerful and is going to allow you to one-shot these mobs incredibly easily and farm dex space incredibly efficiently. However, I know that the player shop can be very volatile, so by the time that you're watching this video, these Sechetyl harmonizers might be going for millions of Meseta and you can't afford that. So the next best thing is to actually farm for one yourself. So these are all the different game modes that you can actually farm for a Sechetyl weapon. However, some are slightly better than others, since some can actually drop the Fixa Unwix already baked into the weapon. So as we can see here, Halfia Lake Interception Part 2, Luciel Exploration, as well as Sign of the Planet Breaker can all drop Sechetyl Harmonizers with the Fixa Unwix already in it. However, if you just want to farm for a harmonizer yourself or just like a regular Sechetyl weapon, then you can farm in any of these game modes. Now, unfortunately, at the time of this recording, there is no limited time quest, but next week we will have one. You can always farm the Kavara's Devastators. You can farm deck space for the Gunblade. You can also farm Nil's Vera Suppression Operation, as well as Doldora's Vera Suppression Operation. However, do keep in mind that all of these highlighted ones do not drop Fixa Unwix. They just drop the Sechetyl weapon itself, alright? So now that you've obtained your Fixa Unwix level 4 Sechetyl Harmonizer and enhanced it all the way to plus 90, what augments do you actually put into it? It's actually super easy. You can put any 3 EX augments, any of them. It depends on however you want to play. Personally, I recommend using Enemy Field PP Gauge, simply because this one recovers your PP every time you kill an enemy. That's really nice. You know, Lively HP Starling is just free potency, super nice as well. And the Tri-Shield is there if you really want it. This is super optional. Tri-Shield might get expensive as time goes by, but definitely get the Enemy Field PP Gauge. This is what I recommend. If you can't get any of these 3, it doesn't matter. You know, just run 4 subclass and you're gonna be fine. Just put any EX augment. It's just there for the extra potency as well as the potency floor. And then for the last 4 augments, you're just gonna put Hal Finale LC, Gladiosol LC, High Red Domina or High Ale Domina LC, as well as Grand Dread Keeper LC. And boom, you are done. You are ready to farm deck space. Now in the guide, they did offer other alternatives. However, I do not recommend the alternatives as they are even more expensive and more difficult to build compared to the one that I just covered. So I still recommend just going with the Sechetyl Harmonizer, as well as your Aina armors with your 7 augments over here. So now that you've built all of your gear, it's time to make back all of that Meseta. So you're just going to go into deck space and you're going to farm regular PSE bursts. Now keep in mind, if you built this set specifically, I highly recommend you find other players that have also built this set and farm together in a passworded room. It's going to be a lot more efficient than playing with random players. And the reason for this is super simple. It's because you're going to be one-shotting mobs. Everyone else in your room is also going to be one-shotting mobs. So this is literally what a PSE burst is going to look like. The mob spawns and they despawn. They spawn, they despawn. They spawn, they despawn. And by finding an efficient group of friends that can farm with you together, you can see that this player ended up with 3.4 million Meseta per hour. Now do keep in mind that they were using a lot of boosters. You can see over here that they actually used a rare drop rate booster, a Meseta booster, they had the party tri boost, as well as also the 10 to 20% tri boost that you can also buy from the SG treasure shop, and of course Rapid Shape Fritters. So that will all stack together in order to increase your Meseta gains. And also don't forget that you can also sell your alt souls, your form souls, as well as your doll souls, as these aren't very useful right now. And you know, by the time you farm a little bit of deck space, you might end up with like 100,000 of these augments. I actually have a lot of these. So in order to get rid of these, you simply just sell them to the NPC and you can make a couple thousand extra Meseta that way as well.
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.